Thank you for joining us today. If you are venue shopping, then you need to hear all of these questions that you have to ask the venues that you're checking out to make sure that you make the perfect decision. I'm Michelle from Josie and Michelle Events, wedding and event planner.
Hello, everyone. Welcome again. This is your lead designer at Josie and Michelle Events. So at this time, I'm sure you already know the season and the style of your wedding. So let's talk about what kind of questions you're going to ask your venue.
Yes. So I always say that when you are choosing your venue, it's very much like choosing your home. It really should feel perfect when you walk in. So when you and your fiance walk in, it just has to feel amazing, and it has to be a place that makes you want to come back. But there are certain questions, you have to do your research. So there are certain questions that you definitely need to ask. And one of the things that you need to consider is how good is their client service? This is not a question you can ask them, but you're going to ask yourself how you feel when you call them, when you email them, when you walk into their space. How do they treat you? How responsive are they? How organized are they? Remember, you're going to be working with them for a very long time throughout your entire engagement period, and you want it to be a smooth and easy process. So that's the question you're going to ask yourself. How good is their client service?
So that leads me to number 2. What is the capacity? So if you're searching for venue, I'm assuming, everybody is going to start shopping online. Make sure that if you have your guest list, that you don't waste your time by coming to a venue. If your guest list is 300 and this venue can only hold 150, then, do your research first to make sure that they have the capacity for your wedding guests.
Now, there are many venues that actually do have multiple weddings at a time. Josie and I are very happy working at all of these different places. They're usually extremely professional, but you still want to ask the question, and you want them to explain how they handle multiple events and how they avoid any confusion between guests, between which bathrooms people are going to use, and how they're going to avoid you running into another bride. Also keep in mind that if a venue, you may feel like I really want to be the only wedding at this place, and Josie and I absolutely love it when that's the case. But keep in mind that if they have more weddings at a time, it's probably a place that's going to be able to offer you a better price. So there you will have to decide what your priorities are. It's not necessarily a problem to have multiple events, but that may be the difference in a very expensive venue and a place that can offer you discounted pricing or just more affordable pricing.
Yep. And actually, talking about price, sometimes when you are shopping online, they sort of have like a price point for you. However, when you come in person, you have the right to ask all these questions. Sometimes not all venue tells you exactly. It doesn't offer you options. However, this is a very important question that you can ask them. How does the price differ in difference between seasons and day of the week? We know for sure that it's not the same planning a wedding on a Thursday, Friday versus Saturday. Saturday is the most popular day. Also, you have the advantage of planning in different time of the day. For example, the price for a Saturday afternoon is not the same for Saturday night, and it's also not the same for Sunday afternoon. So you have different options. So make sure that you discuss this with your venue.
That's right. And one other thing I'm going to throw in there is depending on the kind of a venue, the season could be radically different. So for example, if you're looking at a venue that is a waterfront, that is going to be really expensive in the summer because everybody wants to take advantage of that waterfront. Now, if you go to that waterfront venue in the winter, you got yourself a bargain because nobody really wants to be there in the winter. And if that doesn't matter to you and you didn't plan to do anything outside, you might get a great deal. So you want to think about that. You also want to ask your venue, what do they include? And there's a very long list, and you'll just have to think of what is most important to you. But, you know, is it staff, like your maitre d'? Do they have a bridal attendant for you? How many people are they going to be having in the front, like a receptionist? Is there going to be somebody in the bathrooms assisting people? Will there be a coat check if it's a time of year where people will be wearing coats? Is your linen included? Do they have any additional furniture that they're going to offer you? Options in chair. Some venues will even have centerpieces available. That's pretty rare, but it definitely is possible. So you want to make sure that you go through all of these things, even outside the venue. Is parking available? If handicap options are a concern, that's also something that you want to ask. So sit down and think first about all of your priorities and everything that you're hoping to get in your package.
Another thing that many venues offer, and it's cake. So keep that in mind as well.
Oh, and lighting, Josie, lighting. That's also a plus. When a place has lighting for you, that could be
Absolutely.
a save. Yeah.
Yes. Next question in our list is, what are the catering options? So, and this goes back to pricing as well. And think about what kind of, what kind of style are you looking for in your wedding? So are you thinking of having plated dinner, or you don't really care? And this, works with also your budget. You're okay with a buffet style. Keep in mind that if you choose that option, you're gonna have a line of people waiting. The other options are family style. Over here is interesting because you need to think on your centerpiece. Family style means they're gonna be plating trays in the center of your tables, and everybody is gonna be basically grabbing from that tray. So think of your centerpieces. And another one is cocktail style. So you see how at cocktail hour they have different stations. You can also have that option for your reception.
Now, in planning your day, you may also want to get ready on site. So if that is something that you're interested in, you certainly want to ask, is there a bridal suite? Is there a limit of hours before I come in? That's when that other question about are there other weddings or events going on that day is really going to come into play. Do you need to use their site even for photography? So very important question. Do they have space for you? And how many hours do you get in advance of your event?
One, Michelle. So my next one will be, think of your ceremony. What kind of ceremony are you planning? Are you envisioning doing a ceremony outdoors? So one of the questions you're gonna ask the venue, and you probably will choose a venue because of these options. Do they offer ceremony on site? If they don't, please also consider the distance. Like if you're having your ceremony at a different place or a church, consider the distance. But if they do offer on-site ceremony, ask them what is the rain plan, because at the end of the day, you are planning your ceremony to be outdoors, but you don't control the weather. You want to know what is their rain plan, if that is the option.
My next one is, do they have any restrictions? One big one for us is, do they have a restriction against any vendors? It'll be a real bummer if you had your heart set on a particular florist or a baker, and then you find out after you book your venue that you're not allowed to work with them. So you definitely want to ask that question. Also, you don't want to go ahead and plan your design without asking, can I, hang this, what I wanted on the wall, or I wanted to have flower chandeliers. Did you plan to have for entertainment like smoke machines or snowflakes, or all these cool things that we're seeing out there today? Even something like open flames. If you're going to be in a historic site, let's say a mansion or something like that, you may not be allowed to have candles, a traditional kind of a candle. You definitely want to have that question out there before you plan all of your decor, and then, just have your heart set on something and then you're brokenhearted over this. So definitely ask, what are the restrictions?
And going to that, you're gonna be hiring vendors for your wedding. So you wanna ask the venue if they allowed outside vendors. What are the requirements? Number one is, I'm sure if the venue is legit, they're gonna ask you, that all the vendors need a liability insurance. If they don't ask you that, there's I'm not saying that it's bad, but
It's
we
bad,
know
Josie.
this for sure. We know this for sure
It's bad.
because even us as planners and coordinators, that we're not bringing in furniture, like you need a rental company for that. We're not physically bringing anything. It's just us coordinating everybody. We need to do that. And if the venue asks you that, it's a good thing. It's a good thing because everybody needs this. Another thing is ask how many hours does your vendors have for setup. So it is not cool that you invest so much money in decor, and for certain decor, it needs, you need certain amount of time, and you also need to talk to your vendors about it. But the first is the venue. How many hours do I have for my vendors to come and set up? And is there a loading zone? So you don't want, and if the venue has another wedding and they don't have a loading zone, you don't want to ruin somebody else's wedding by just bringing stuff in, right? Your vendors are gonna start bringing everything they need, to set up your event. So you wanna ask that as well.
And our last question is, do they have any extra fees? They're going to give you a very long contract. There's going to be a lot of fine print. You're going to be so excited. You're not going to want to read every single detail, and I don't blame you. So just ask the question, is there any fee that we haven't discussed that, may come up down the line? And you can specifically ask, for example, if you're bringing in a cake, are you going to charge a cake cutting fee? When you are, told that there's valet, but is it included? Is there a valet fee? Is there a site fee? That is something that they would probably cover, but there sometimes are little things that you're not thinking about. Even, we mentioned before having a coat check. Sometimes there's an extra fee for that. Bridal attendant, bathroom attendant. So just make sure you put it out there. Is there an extra fee? So that when you sign everything, you are fully satisfied, fully aware, and you know that you have the perfect place at the perfect price for you.
One of the things that you need to ask, just like Michelle said, they say you can bring your own alcohol, then ask them, do I need to pay extra for a bartender? Do they charge me for every bottle that they're gonna open? All these little things count. So make your list, and I'm sure you're gonna have a very successful venue shopping when you start.
That's all we have for you guys. I hope that you found that helpful. Write all your questions down before you go. And as Josie said, you're going to have a whole lot of fun. But most importantly, trust your gut. And like I said before, it should just feel like home. When you go in, you both just have to love it. Thanks, guys. And if you haven't done so already, I'll ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Josie and Michelle Events. We have a lot of other great wedding tips that will help you have a very smooth planning process. See you guys soon.
See you soon.